Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal looking for a striker this summer. It's no secret. And one of them is Jonathan David. So in this video, I want to dive into Jonathan David. He's a player that has been linked with Arsenal and a couple of other clubs for a while now. He's been on the radar. He's 25, Canadian, and his numbers are really interesting. Now, normally he's one of the players that I wouldn't really give a lot of attention, but because it's a free deal and Arsenal are looking to sign at least 2 strikers this summer, it looks like Jonathan David is a real possibility. So who is Jonathan David? Should Arsenal try to sign him? And what good is this guy? Can he come in and change the way we attack? Obviously, I will compare him to the likes of Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus that we have already at the club, and also compare him to the likes of Hugo Ekitike, Isak, Gyökeres, and Benjamin Sesko. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. If you know about him, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions in the comment box below. What do you know about Jonathan David? Is he good in your opinion? Does he fit Arsenal? Let's talk about him. Now, reports have been accumulating from news aggregators for a couple of weeks now that Arsenal are looking at Jonathan David as a free agent come this summer. It's not only Arsenal, Manchester United as well are looking at his position since it's a free deal. Chelsea and a couple of other clubs like West Ham are all saying if he's gonna work for free, we are 100% going to try and activate that position. And I don't have a problem with that. I think Arsenal are simply being smart. I mean, the striker market is rubbish. I'm talking about real rubbish. If you look at Isak, it's 150 million. Then you think about the likes of Gyökeres, you think about the likes of Sesko, that is about 70 to 80 million. So you're not getting real quality in the market and you're going to have to pay top dollar. That is why Jonathan David could be a very interesting position for Arsenal this summer. Now, Jonathan David is a Canadian striker, 25 years of age. He's playing with Lille Metropole in France and he's been there for some time and his numbers are quite amazing. That is actually why I decided to do this video as a standalone video because I was like, this guy has really good numbers. So this season, he has already scored 14 goals and assisted 3 times for Lille in the French League 1. Last season, he scored 19 and assisted 4 times. And the season before that, crazy, right? 24 goals. I mean, this guy is really consistent at getting double figures. In the 2021-22 season, it was 15 goals. And the 2020-2021 campaign, it was 13 goals. Now, when you hear his numbers, 13, 15, 21, 24, 19, they're a little bit of average. But then when you think about what Arsenal need, I think Jonathan David can come in at the club and do a job. Now, I'm not saying don't get Isak or don't get Sesko or don't get Victor Gyökeres. We shall try to compare all of them to him. I'm saying there is some good quality in this player at this point in time. So when I think about these numbers and when I look at his numbers, I think Arsenal can benefit from a free deal from such a player. I mean, if you're playing for Lille Metropole, yes, the French League is a little bit easier and lightweight as a league. But when I think about the Premier League and a club like Arsenal, we are always having, percentages of the ball. We are always dominating. All we are wanting and all we are looking for is a player that can actually get the ball over the line. That could be Jonathan David. I mean, he could do the job. He's already proven for the last 4-5 seasons that he can score 13 goals and above at a club like Lille. I mean, you're not spending any money on him. It's only his sign-on fees and maybe you give him a decent wage. And again, Jonathan David is not a player that is going to ask for a lot of money. I mean, he's free, but he's not going to ask for 300k because he's joining you on a free deal. On a normal day, he's going to be signing for clubs like West Ham, Brentford, and the likes. None of those clubs is going to give him 200k or 300k because it's free. So that's why I'm saying it's a good deal. If Arsenal can actually look at it, scrutinize him, and decide that it's a good signing, I think there is some upside to this deal actually. Now, yes, we've looked at his numbers. We have also looked at his assists as well. Let's compare him to the players we have at the moment. Now, the one I want to start with is Gabriel Jesus. With Gabriel Jesus, there is a question mark on him. Is he a real striker? Like, can you compare him to the strikers on the market? Or is he just a forward? And it would be misleading for us to compare our striker targets to him. Why I usually compare Gabriel Jesus to the players we're linked with is because if Arsenal did sign a striker at any point in time, if the summer ends and we don't have a striker, guess what? We are going to have to rely on Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. Now, there was that little pocket of form that he actually picked up, and many people had started theorizing. Listen, Gabriel Jesus is in form. Maybe Arsenal don't need a number 9. Maybe this and that. Maybe this and that. For me, it's a mistake. A mistake that Arsenal can't afford to do. Go out there and get a good number 9. So with Gabriel Jesus and Jonathan David, they're very different players and the profiles are quite very different. In front of goal, Jonathan David takes the day. He's a little bit more clinical. I'm not saying he's this kind of clinical Messi or Julian Alvarez, that kind of type, Luis Suarez. Not really, but he's a better finisher of chances than Gabriel Jesus. I mean, we have seen Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal. We know what he can do and we know what he can do. And his numbers as well, they show it. I mean, a guy that has scored 24 goals only in the league for Lille in a single campaign. And then the season before that, he scored 19. Gabriel Jesus would be struggling to get those numbers. Now, Jesus has got his advantages and we're going to talk about them. But I'm saying in terms of what Arsenal are looking for this summer, a finisher, a guy that can stand in front of goal and bury chances, Jonathan David takes the day. But where Gabriel Jesus is better than David is in the general link-up play. And that general link-up play is what Mikel Arteta really likes. And think about the players we're linked with, and it will show. I mean, he signed Gabriel Jesus himself for around 47, 48 million. And then he's linked with Alexander Isak. And then he's linked with Hugo Ekitike. All these players have something in common. They're very good without the ball. And they're very good when it comes to linking up the channels and working the channels. So Gabriel Jesus, in terms of being a Mikel Arteta player, a Mikel Arteta forward, Gabriel Jesus is better. Physicality, Jonathan David is really, really physical. Aerial ability, Jonathan David is better as well. So I would say, if Arsenal really wanted a serious 9, between Gabriel Jesus and Jonathan David, I am going to go with Jonathan David. What about Kai Havertz? He's been our predominant number 9 ever since Gabriel Jesus started being injury prone and ever since his role in midfield failed. Mikel Arteta decided that we could find somewhere we could actually fit him. And in the end, Kai Havertz started playing as a centre forward and it worked out quite well. So the question I have is he better than Jonathan David? The numbers lie. I mean, Jonathan David, as a striker, naturally, he's better than Kai Havertz. But Kai Havertz has been Arsenal's leading goal scorer this season and last season as well. And one thing that we can actually see is Arsenal needs someone better than Kai Havertz. And that's why Jonathan David, although he's good, he makes me feel skeptical. I'm a little bit skeptical because his numbers are not two-way above Kai Havertz. I'm not saying Kai is bad. I'm saying we could do better. But is Jonathan David better? Possibly not. But what if we are to compare the two players in front of goal, you're definitely going with Jonathan David. Better finisher, better striker instincts as well. If you want someone to lead the line, again, Jonathan David, he is a striker. And Kai Havertz is a general forward or a general midfielder. But one thing you like about Kai Havertz, and one thing that Kai Havertz beats Jonathan David with, and why Kai is the perfect striker again for Mikel Arteta, work rate. He works a lot, and he works very hard, and his pressing is very effective. Now, there's so many people that don't understand Kai Havertz as a player, and they'll tell you, what does he do? What does he do? Okay, what he does is easy. He does what the manager asks him to do. That's number one. But also he's a freak at pressing. He's a dangerous presser when it comes to his profile. And him and Martin Odegaard when they actually combine on their good days, they're very, very good presser. They're very good at pressing, and Arsenal create a lot of chances when those two lead the press. So I can say that Jonathan David is slightly better in terms of being a striker than Kai, and slightly better than Gabriel Jesus as well in leading the line. But how does he fare with the players that we are trying to sign this summer? Let's start off with Alexander Isak. With Isak, I think he blows Jonathan David out of the water. He blows him away with a simple, I would say, wish. Because Alexander Isak, at the moment, is top 3, if not top 2, best strikers in Europe. And I'm talking, if a club wanted a striker right now, Alexander Isak definitely would start. I would say Erling Haaland, for me, in terms of getting the goals, is still better and higher in the ranking than Alexander Isak. I would say Robert Lewandowski is still better, but the age obviously factors in. I would say Kylian Mbappe is better as well, but then maybe Harry Kane. There are not so many others I'm going to put in front of Alexander Isak. Now, Isak is clinical. David is clinical too. Isak is fast. Isak is really technical and very, very quick. I think that is where he beats Jonathan David. And of course, him being Premier League proven, Mikel Arteta is going to look at it and say, why would I want Jonathan David, who has not even played in the Premier League, and then leave Alexander Isak? Now, it would be a little bit of an, I would say, it would be unfair for us to compare Isak and David. I think they're classes apart. Isak is that really top striker, and that's why he's costing 150M. And on his good day, in a good season, Jonathan David would cost around 50 to 65 million euros. So if Arsenal really had the chance to sign either role, I think Isak is a no-brainer. But where it gets interesting is this. Apart from Alexander Isak, Jonathan David really fares well and compares well to all the other strikers Arsenal are interested in, despite the fact that Arsenal wouldn't have to spend a single penny on him. So let's start off with Benjamin Sesko. Sesko is another Jonathan David. He has not proven a lot. The difference between the two for me is that David has done it longer. He has scored goals longer for Lille Metropole, on that stage. And Sesko is just a rising star. Now, many people are hyping Sesko, one of the best strikers in Europe. And I ask myself, what makes him one of the best strikers in Europe? Nobody answers. And then I ask again, why is Sesko one of the great talents that we must be mesmerized by in Europe right now? And nobody answers as well. Now, I'm not saying he's not good. He's got his advantages. But for me, between Jonathan David and Sesko, and Jonathan David is free, I would go with Jonathan David. I bet he would score more goals, and I bet his physicality would actually work well with the Premier League. But what about Hugo Ekitike? Now, Ekitike has got his advantages as well because he's so similar to Alexander Isak. Quick, technical, he can beat a man. He's a general forward. Like, he can play on the right wing, can play on the left wing, and can also play as a forward. That is what Mikel Arteta likes. He doesn't want this, I am a number 9 guys. He wants a player that can actually give him a range of options. That is Hugo Ekitike for you. But for 70 million euros, I would still go with Jonathan David. The only two players that I would say, no, don't go for David, go for them, is Victor Gyökeres, because Gyökeres is a no-brainer. He is a goal machine. And then on the other end, Lautaro Martinez. Even if Lautaro is going to cost 100 million and Jonathan David is going to cost free of charge, go for Lautaro Martinez. Now, there is a question about Brian Mbeumo. Mbeumo is Premier League proven, but still, he's not going to come cheap. Mbeumo is going to come at a cost of about 50 to 60 million. Now, for me, what Mbeumo can do, Jonathan David can do as well. So I'm going to say, if we can, let's go and get that Jonathan David deal done, but not as our main striker, but our backup striker. I mean, Arsenal really don't have strikers. Gabriel Jesus is injured throughout, the international break, and it will be, he's going to be injured till the end of the season, and possibly next season at the beginning. If we can get two strikers, one for free, and that is Jonathan David, it would be a very good deal. We missed out on Marcus Thuram on a free deal. That would have been kind of genius. Let's go and do this one. It will be a good one. Hit the like button and share your thoughts with me in the comment box below.